Hello and welcome back to Real Moves for Real Life. In this video today, we're going to address 3 specific movements that are going to help reduce the stickiness that shows up in our shoulders. You know, when you're trying to reach overhead and you just can't get that arm up, or maybe when you're washing your hair and you just can't get your hands up on the top of your head to wash. So in this video, let's get those shoulders a bit more spacious and open to allow them to let the hands come overhead. Welcome back to Real Moves for Real Life. My name is Lisa, and in today's video, we are absolutely talking about these shoulders. So let's make sure we've got all the tools that we need. You might want to have a blanket, a towel, a mat down on the floor. I'd also encourage you to go find yourself some sort of ball. This is a tennis ball, but you could use something of similar size and firmness of this ball. You might also want to grab a belt, a strap, maybe a necktie, something that you can use that has a bit of tautness to it. In worst case scenario, you could also grab a resistance band. That would work just fine as well. Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to do is, use our ball. And when we have our ball, I want you to think about the back of your mid-back. We're looking at bringing that tennis ball right into the middle of the back, sort of right beside the spine. We have this bone here, your shoulder blade. We want to find the ridge, that inner ridge of your shoulder blade. And the way we can do that is by lying down on this tennis ball. So I'm going to place mine down and then I'll have a little lay back, and it might take a couple tries just to sort of sit so that you can feel where that ball is sort of between that shoulder blade and your spine. Now, relax yourself if you can. If you need a cushion under your head, you absolutely it there. And then just sort of explore, and that might be just by rolling yourself on that ball, just noticing what shows up. If you need to reduce the pressure, you can maybe cradle the head so that you have that support, and just notice that one spot between the shoulder blades. Now, of course, I'm only showing you the one side, but you would definitely want to do both sides of those shoulder blades so you can feel that space on both sides of the spine. So after you've done that, it brings a little attention to that zone between those two shoulder blades. Now, coming to a seated position, if you need to sit on something, that's fine. You could be in a chair if you want. I'm just down on the floor today, so I'll stay seated here in a comfortable position for me. From here, I'm going to take my arms out and reach them in front of me. Now, just coming to shoulder height, I like to spread my fingers so I can take up lots of space with my hands. And then as you sit here, just notice if those shoulders want to creep up towards the ears, or if they like to come and sit down. As we sort of notice that, see if you can let those shoulder blades sink down to the back of your pant line. So think about dropping down to the waist, just letting them come down, and see if we can just let them settle in. Now, your arms might get a little tired here as you hold your arms here. That's okay. If you need to stop and drop them to your lap, that is totally fine. But I want you just to be able to feel where your arms are in space, and then what are your shoulder blades doing? Are they rising up and the shoulders going up? Or are you noticing that they can drop down a little bit? So once you feel that they've come down, now I want you to see if you can reach your fingertips forward. So draw those fingertips forward and then let the arm bones sink back into the shoulder socket. So fingertips come forward, and then that arm bone sinks in, almost like you're plugging in a plug-in. Let's go with a side view on this. Fingertips coming forward and arm bones sinking back in. Now, it can be a very small movement. It does not have to be large at all. And as you continue to do this movement, I want you to consider, can you feel your upper back and that space that you explored with the tennis ball? And then relax the arms in the lap. Take a little break. If it would feel good to just sort of roll through those shoulders, that might allow you to just have a little break. Now, small change here to this exercise. We're going to bring in the strap. And what I like to do is I just kind of fold it on itself so that the strap is about shoulder width apart. So we had our hands and shoulder width apart already. We had our hands out, fingertips pointing. This time we're grasping onto that strap. From here, I want you to see if you can reach the hands forward and then draw the arm bones back. So exact same movement. The only thing we've shifted and changed is that the hands are now connected. And so I want you to notice if things shifted or changed when you've added the strap. Has that changed how the movement is going? Are you a little bit more aware of that space between the shoulder blades now that the two arms are connected? Now, this is fairly strong movement. It looks fairly simple, but the more you do it, the more fatigue those areas of tissue around the shoulders might get. So take your arms down at any time. It doesn't have to be a certain number of repetitions. It's more about feeling this movement in your body. Excellent. And then drop those arms down. Again, if it would feel good to give the arms a bit of a shakeout, a little bit of a release, that would be lovely. The last thing that we're going to do today is come into a hands and knees position. So if that is something that would be bothersome for your knees, go ahead and find some cushion so you can put your mat and roll it over, get a bit more of a cushion underneath you. You could bring a blanket in, you could bring a towel. I don't have anything here today, but if you need that support, please do. At any time point that you need to come out of this hands and knees position, please take care of yourself and do so. So we'll come to a hands and knees position. My hand is right underneath my shoulder and my knee is right under my hip. So first just find yourself here. Noticing if you are pressing into the tops of your feet. Do you also feel maybe the shins on the floor? And then every single fingerprint that you have, just give it a gentle press into the floor, keeping a slight bend in your elbows. All right, from here, we're going to keep our hands firm to the floor and we're gently going to press ourselves away from the ground. So we're not moving very much. As you can see, I probably moved about an inch or less. And then I'm going to let myself sink into those arms. So press away and sink back down. Press away and sink back down. So really keeping the contact of the hands and feet to the floor. It might feel like your torso is hovering and dropping towards the floor and then lifting up and away. Now the spine is staying long. We're not doing anything at all with your spine. It just gets to come along for the ride. And as you continue to do this movement, you may notice that you will be able to go a little bit further and farther, sinking further in, or pressing up and farther away. So just see if that's possible for you. Good. And then you can release, let go, come back to your seated position. Take your hands into your lap and just let your palms face up towards the ceiling, letting those shoulders drop. And now that you're here, can you feel that spaciousness between the shoulder blades? Maybe it's not as much of a concerted effort to ask that shoulder blade or those shoulder blades to drop down to the waistband. Can you feel a sinking action downward a little bit more than you could before? So I encourage you to try these 3 exercises, taking the ball, having a little exploration, allowing the hands to come forward and back without the strap and with the strap, and then coming to your hands and knees, allowing yourself to move up and down as well through that shoulder joint. I hope that these movements are helpful for you, that they bring some spaciousness into those sticky shoulders. Again, my name is Lisa Workman. Thank you so much for joining me for another Real Moves for Real Life video. I do hope that this gives you some freedom of movement so that you can do all the things that you want to do with your arms and shoulders. If you like this video, be sure to give me a big thumbs up. And of course, our shoulders are nice and mobile now, so you can give me a nice big thumbs up. And do leave a comment down below out of which of the three of these exercises was the most beneficial in terms of sensing those shoulder blades. Which one did you feel the most? Thank you so much for joining me. I'm here to support you in your physical activity journey. Take care. Bye-bye. So this is something that you could use, it doesn't bounce.